reality. That is our theme.
Thornton set a tracking bracket on Hiroka's image on the surveillance monitor. Then, he pulled a small watch-like device off the control panel and snapped it onto his wrist. He set about following her on it as he exited into the hallway. His footsteps echoed down the hall.
If the thesis says the best way to learn what's true is to accept reality, as described by our most dominant governments, institutions, and authority figures, then the antithesis states that the worst way to grasp the truth is to accept that version of reality, since our entrenched authorities have a vested interest in concealing any uncomfortable truths that threaten their power. What's the synthesis? It is to question the truths presented by our dominant reality so that we may shed light on the most perilous deceptions and reconstruct a world that better serves our desire to lead regenerative, fulfilling lives. Of course, if your goal is to succeed by steamrolling over others and spreading death and destruction, you can ignore all of this and just maintain the status quo. Perhaps enclose your enemies in a virtual reality while you seize the real one. Jacques Lacan, a wise guy of Earth, once kinda said, "The real is what any person's reality must tamp down and deny." Marinate on that.
But how do we invoke the real, hiding beneath the reality that our current economic worldview pushes out at us? We tune in to the paradoxes, the catch-22s, and the internal contradictions we just can't untangle, even with a cyber detangler on turbo.
The tracking beacon indicated Hiroka must be very close and getting closer.
To put it another way, if you're one of the 3 little piggies holed up in your brick shack, waiting for the big bad wolf to run out of breath, that's one thing. Reality is everyone telling you, "It's just the big bad wolf. You have wolf insurance, right? Don't sweat it." Sure, that'd be fine if there was just a wolf at the door. But if it's actually a tsunami hurricane and will flood and obliterate your home, then waiting it out might not save you. You may lack the words or concepts for it, deny its existence, and believe it will go away like a bored wolf. But the tidal wave of effluvium flowing at you from the local nuclear power plant begs to differ. That is the real.
Thornton finally found the door behind which his former colleague and lover sat on the floor. He opened it cautiously. From behind, she appeared to be stretching her legs and reaching to touch her toes with a grunt.
Sarah?
Once she gauged the timing weirdness, and then the obvious voice of a stranger, familiar as he sounded, she switched to survival mode. Hiroka grabbed a pair of knitting needles from a cracked mug near her right knee.
Sorry to interrupt.
Hiroka flung the first needle into Thornton's forehead. It found purchase almost dead center and an inch above the bridge of his nose. Call it a third-eye bullseye.
Damn it. Ow, ow, ow.
Thornton? What the hell? Oh,
take it out.
Gosh, that's a lot of blood. Hang on,
It
don't.
stings real bad.
Let me do it.
Thanks. Who's Sarah?
Well, hello to you, too.
Will you be here? I need to... I'll be back.
What about your face?
Thornton stepped out of her quarters and headed back to the control room.
I guess I'm not quite ready. And anyway, we owe the downside up a visit. Previously, Hernan had relented in allowing Lilike to listen to a broadcast about how they had been supposedly kidnapped and held hostage at a hotel they had never even visited. Hernan then left them in the heavily armored safe room with older sister Betsy. He promised to return with dinner. Wolf News anchor Wazel Baxter continued his conversation with Chief of Police Rosaria Solis.
Let's circle back to Lilike, the youngster apparently at the center of both this hostage situation and the Stone Stew scandal, which killed the former Chancellor of Bohemia.
Do we know if new evidence has arisen pointing to the child hostage's role in murdering a foreign dignitary? I must remind our viewers that
Even if Lilike were found guilty for Von Drum's murder,
such a crime is still no grounds for kidnapping and violence against journalists and the general public.
Well said. The answer is no. We have uncovered numerous details regarding the crimes of Herr von Traum, on the other hand. These include the cover-up of the truth behind one trillionaire's alleged crime of family annihilation. Martina Bleursdorf of Deutsch, Latvia, and Hellgate City was accused by von Traum's justice team of slaughtering her 4 children and husband before turning the spork, really a fondue skewer, on herself. Our investigation revealed an internal government plot to eliminate her and seize the assets of her family fortune.
Now, didn't von Traum's crimes include sheltering and bribing numerous high-level judges, conspiring in this and other affairs against the Bohemian people and, dare I say, unsuspecting Neo-Amster denizens?
Let's not get off topic.
Hey, that's my line!
See, I can be cheeky.
By your assessment, does young Lilike stand a chance against these vicious terrorists?
Remember, we suspect they're kidnapping based on circumstantial evidence. But due to the highly sensitive nature of this scenario and immediate risk to the general public, we must act swiftly on limited information. We're not even sure how many suspects are involved in this kidnapping operation. Hold on, I'm getting an update from the negotiators. Correct. Yes, please stand by. Sorry.
Was that from Detective Kurosawa himself?
Yes, in fact, we're readying a cyber SWAT team as we speak. Kidnapping is one thing, but we don't negotiate with terrorists.
Oh, well, of course. Oh boy. My heart's pounding just imagining it. Does that mean...
Indeed. Detective Kurosawa has just given the green light to go live on his body cam. Can you arrange a feed?
Lilike had gone silent, wondering if they would find him in 2 places at once. Was it possible for there to be another Lilike? Was some poor innocent kid mixed up in this?
Or was it just another lie, not unlike the Stone Stew incident, thrusting Lilike into the middle of a political intrigue and using them as a pawn to manipulate the public's perception and obfuscate the real actors behind a criminal conspiracy? Look at the poor prodigy caught up in this mess. Oh well.
Dad, your father's on the government holophone. He was right. You must remain in this secure room no matter what.
But they're about to storm a room full of mostly innocent people. It's a false mission. Shouldn't we tell them I'm safe and sound at home? We'll warn them not to escalate.
No, your father made the very good point that the perception of you as a victim is a net benefit. It ensures no one will come here looking for you with reckless abandon.
But Mom, I don't want blood on my hands. This isn't my first trip to the cyber rodeo. I don't see how you two are comfortable lying to the public.
I understand, Bunny. No one's happy about any potential blood-soaked palms or whatnot, but I trust your father. He's using all diplomatic channels to inform the authorities.
And he was.
so was GAP member Thaddeus Sabbath, a proxy in Neo Amsterdam's Governing Authority Council. He was waiting for a seat to open up on the board of the Governing Authority Group, GAG. Like each of the 9 proxies, he represented the interests of a designated mega-corporate sponsor. In Thaddeus's case, it was Toyosir Worldwide. Proxies were appointed by elected GAG members to vote for them when needed, draft requested legislation, and clean up messes that might threaten the sleek, smoothly operating machine of city governance in service of corporate power. He too watched the broadcast with a shadowy figure who knew all too well the implications of such a prominent child being taken hostage.
The mysterious figure spoke to Thaddeus like a puppet master instructing his deviant robotic puppet.
Proceed with the precision strike. We do not cower before human shields. Just make sure to conceal any data recovered from the assailants. Confiscate everything I am owed by Mr. Riggs.
And with that conveyed to her, Detective Solace ordered the negotiation team to penetrate the building. Lilike's mom stepped out of the safe room, and as soon as she did, Lilike sprung into action, grabbing a cyber umbrella from the armory. It was the gigantoid type that extends out to form the equivalent of an urban parachute. They also adorned themselves with a pair of 1000x magnification-capable visor goggles, super grip boots to walk on walls and ceilings, and a photon sword in its scabbard. The latter is a blade whose primary function was to issue a blinding blast of flickering light when drawn at an assailant. The gamma rays that accompanied the light blast scrambled brain links and, really, any tech on a person. It also had a laser filament cutting edge, but that aspect was extremely difficult to use effectively. Lilike had trained with a simulated version of it for nearly 3 years and was still tremulous at the prospect of wielding one in real-time combat. Losing control of the sword would mean death for the loser. Betchy raised her eyebrows at her younger sibling. Lilike shrugged and nodded. Their long, silvery hair fluttered about a swarthy neckline and shoulder exposed by an asymmetrical top. Betchy shook her head and tossed Lily a bulletproof flak cloak. Then she keyed in the code for the trash chute. The dumbwaiter-like slot opened. It would whisk rubbish or a lithe younger sibling 17 stories down into the trash compactor in the basement. Not the best way to exit the building, but perhaps the best one available. Lilike set the Pennsylvania Mega Hotel as their destination on the holophone, hit play on the live news broadcast to stay tuned in, and disappeared down the chute with a whoosh. Jump seat aboard the hover ship. He ground his teeth as the vessel flew toward the docking bay on the 72nd floor of the hotel. The infrared holo imager displayed 4, possibly 5 bodies.
He zoomed in on the figure standing apart from the group, holding a harpoon-looking weapon. This sort of aggressive approach made him nervous, since it boded poor results in terms of negotiation. He checked the battery gauge of his cyber legs.
99% solid.
Then, he punched in tighter on the kidnapper-terrorist suspect, and a chill ran down his slightly modified spine. This fellow, being cast by the media as a monster, looked like a splitting image of Marcus himself, like some kind of long-lost, rugged twin with a jagged face and an eye patch and scraggly salt and pepper hair and beard. Marcus did his best to shake it off. This can't be.
It's like me, but brat.
It's probably just a system glitch, assigning my own appearance since it is registered for use by the AI. Huh. Marcus had heard of such situations once or twice before. They'd even given some cops pause until they met face to face with the actual assailants. But I can assure you, as a ghost in the machine, viewing all of this happen not as a dream, I remind you, this downside-up world is more vivid and real to me than any dream I've ever had and any reality I've ever experienced. You see, I'm in an upside-down, backwards existence here. And I tell you, these two men were spitting images of each other. I swear it. This was no fluke of AI. But that's for Marcus to find out. And he would pull no punches if it came to that. He refused to end up a statistic on Wolf News. The police ship jolted to a halt, and the umbilical hatch door lurched open, serving them into the belly of the giant. He switched on the live feed of his body cam with a click. Then he announced his strategic position.
Marcus Kurosawa, lead negotiator with NABD, entering the building at Dock N72.
His crack negotiating team, drawn from the SWAT unit, hurtled into the building behind him.
Moments after they entered the hallway, they were whipsawed by their own momentum in the face of a sneak attack. It was an ambush. 2 of the 10 operators absorbed the brunt end of it. Coming in from the right side, down the hallway, barreled a creature not visible to the human eye, moving faster than any Orgo or cyborg person could react to in time. Marcus's imager had either malfunctioned or failed. Like a bowling ball taking out 2 outer pins, the monstrous interloper mowed down several more officers by mere proximity to the first 2 who fell. The snapping of bones, like saplings being stepped on by mecha-suited teenagers in a forest, carved a sorrowful path. 3 were left standing amid the carnage. It was Marcus, a security soldier drenched in blood, and a communications specialist whose radio was so caked in entrails it could take a quarter of an hour to get it back in working condition. And they hadn't addressed the elephant-sized demon beast in the room. It had dragged the 2 initial victims down the hallway and around the corner. But would it return? Officer Weems, a rookie who had gotten stuck in his jump seat until 10 seconds ago, arrived as the final team member to see a scenario so ghastly as to make him reconsider his entire career and the Philly cheesesteak he had for lunch.
negotiators would be holding forks.
No, one chopstick.
Because Marcus Kurosawa's from Japan?
No, because one chopstick is worse than a fork.
Well, you can put boots in the oven, but it don't make them biscuits.
Huh?
I make the funny quips around here. Stay in your lane.
Ha ha. As for whether Marcus even made it to Constance Peterson's room on the 70th floor of the Pennsylvania Mega Hotel, and as to what happened to Lilike, who most certainly intended to do the same, stay tuned, dear customer service agent. For now, we return to a most disturbing dreamscape. In it, we find Laser in quite a pickle. Previously, in the hand of Glod, we left Laser with his newly acquired cybernetic right hand, pressing dangerously hard upon the chest of 8-Ball, a thief and extortionist who had targeted Laser and his congregants. In an attempt to neutralize 8-Ball and his gang, Laser had surreptitiously entered the Rosenthal apartment and blasted the cyborg enforcer Sixie with the neutron cannon in his palm. Although it had put an end to Sixie, it inadvertently killed a group of congregants attending the bris, or circumcision, of Pamela Rosenthal's baby boy. Laser felt hard-pressed, no pun intended, to decide whether 8-Ball should live or, more likely, die for his role in this catastrophe. Just then, a shaggy, dust-colored mutt startled Laser with a tap of its cold nose on his calf.
Schlitzberger, didn't see you there, little guy. Be a good boy and that's right, just stay there.
Laser reached down with his other arm and scratched the doggy behind the ear, and it calmed him. Cascading showers of shame rained down on Laser's neuroreceptors, washing over him and carrying away his plans for the future, like floodwaters carry away couches, cars, and lawn furniture cushions. Scrunkles, the dust-colored mutt nuzzling up to him, provided a faint comfort. That's when the baby, the poor blood-soaked tyke, whose future had been momentously deleted forevermore, stirred in the corner. The dog whimpered and wagged her tail, eager to explore. Laser held Scrunkles back by the collar. He feared any shock to the babe. Then he knelt down to see if he could help the baby somehow. Laser engaged his brain OS with a thought command.
Analyze infant survivor for treatment options.
Then he held his palm over the baby.
Newborn. Age, 8 days. Sex, male. Injuries, severed foreskin, concussion, and third-degree neutron cannon burns on both legs. Although cauterized, amputation of lower limbs is advised within the day to avoid life-threatening complications. Survival odds in present condition, 37% with immediate care and cybernetic surgery. Without, survival odds, 0.37%.
The blackguard's squad car sirens approached. 8-Ball mustered up a pained rejoinder to Laser's obvious predicament.
You'll pay for this. For Sixie. For everything. You daft fanatic.
Me? You've taken every iota that matters to me. My own congregation, our peace, and our safe haven. You dashed it into smithereens, you digi schlemazel. A rival gang did this. That's your story and your only salvation, you crooked, sadistic dreckbag. Or do you want credit for executing the infant?
8-Ball spat blood in Laser's face. Laser jabbed his organic left elbow into 8-Ball's Adam's apple till he gurgled and waved a relenting hand. Laser tuned into his brain OS and commanded it.
Perform emergency life support protocol on the newborn.
Parentage, Pamela and Gerhard Rosenthal, deceased. Newborn's name?
Cyber baby.
Cyber baby, are you taking the piss, you lick-spittle, lightweight exterminator?
Asked 8-Ball before coughing up a fit.
It's a nickname.
Good luck with that. Murder Boy and Cyber Baby sounds like a right villainous duo, of which I'll never speak again, I promise. A biological auto-injector popped out of Laser's right bicep, tearing through synthetic flesh and causing considerable pain based on Laser's contorted mouth and twitching neck. It injected some healing and pain management agents into the baby. Then, 3 forceps-like grips popped out of the arm to latch the baby to Laser's forearm. The Brain OS agent for his prosthetic arm spoke.
You have spent 1 of 2 resuscitation credits with Dr. Stenworth. Battery 0.56%. Shutdown and possible death impacts in T-minus 2 minutes. Relocate to medical facility immediately.
Just at that moment, blackguard officers could be heard entering the apartment. Accompanied by Scrunkles, Laser secreted Cyber Baby Rosenthal out and down the fire escape as an officer shouted, "Freeze!" And thus, the now notorious duo, Murder Boy and Cyber Baby, was born. Whoever's listening, I hate to bring this up again, but I accidentally deleted the cache of the internet. And I understand that maybe you intended that. Believe me, I know I worked for your side for decades. Accidents. Hell, we invented accidents to mow the lawn, a term you wouldn't comprehend as no natural lawns remain, friendo.
Au contraire. I'm well aware of lawns, mister. Grew up in Forest Hills. I know all about lawning and lawn care.
So, you're an earthling? Hello?
Yep. Hi, I just snarfed my coffee. That's good. I'm using that.
So that's a yes.
I can't confirm or deny. I can't.
I'm serious, damn it. Answer me.
Now hold on a minute. Mr. Thornton Bevins, that's no way to talk to someone, especially one trying to help you. Take that tone again and I'll end the call.
Oh no, you will not. That's against policy.
Did you know policy lets me do this? Please hold.
Hey.
Okay, I'm back. So you're hip to policy. So what? I can just transfer you to a different rep. We have a different policy on our end on account of the ingratiating abuse leveled at us by some customers.
Is that so? Thanks for the inside info. What was your name?
Gil.
Gil? That a full...
Just Gil, thank you. How can I help you?
Well, Gil, my internet's down.
We're not surviving, pal. Unless you have health concerns within our precisely defined parameters, we wish you the best on your journey and consider the matter solved.
Hold on. Don't tell me Earthlings have that limited an understanding of our plight.
You seriously think you're not on Earth, don't you?
And you think you're not in a call center in some backwater dimension, serving a highly advanced technological society.
Highly? Give me a break. If you lack an approved health condition...
My forehead. I was stabbed in the unibrow by a sharpened knitting needle. Nicked my skull casing for sure.
Assault? That's code 1043. Call the cops.
I can't. And risk ending this call? I'm trapped in a pre-singularity virtual purgatory. You understand? Got stabbed in the head by my ex. Could I message a family member? anyone.
You're not even close to being able to do that. You have negative 7 million points.
What?
How fatal is the injury?
How fatal? Maybe a 2 out of 10? But I can't be killed virtually, right?
Wrong. You can definitely be slaughtered, sliced, diced, brained, in short, deceased. Let's see, according to my dashboard, you need to take a scrumdiddlyumptious wazzle thrice a day till the bleeding stops.
Okay, scrumdiddlyumptious.
Umptious. Scrumdiddlyumptious. It's plum-colored.
As for reaching the outside world, there's no workaround.
Look, we deal with a number of these types of facilities, and it's really outside of my scope. You think you're in a superior dimension trying to skirt the rules? You sound like my Uncle Paulie, to be honest. Sorry, I'm having a rough one. Can I level with you?
Yes, certainly.
I'm not supposed to talk about this specifically. Our branch manager chewed me out last week and said a bunch of crap about how she was going to blackball me from the industry. Oh, really? That's how you effectively guide people in a results-oriented way, Veronica?
Blackball?
Yo, forget that. My buddy Dino said something to this effect to another long-time customer. Dino's been here for like 30 years or something. You gotta find a modem. I know it sounds like non-health insurance related advice, and I don't even know what that means exactly. Like, literally? We're inside you? LOL. Anyway, that's all I got. Shit, here comes Veronica. Please hold. We'll be with you shortly.
A modem? If only I had the internet to look it up.
Oh, that's simple. It's a plastic fruit with a long stem that grows out of the wall. Smells like burnt dust. Horrible stuff.
You know where I can find out how to get one?
Vlather might know.
Oh, great. Of course.
Shocking Sleep Facts, Volume 26. Dr. William Halstead founded the surgical training program at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland, in May of 1889. The first requirement he imposed on doctors in training was that they would have to live in the hospital for 6 years. Sounds extreme. Yet, we still use the terminology and at least some of the horrifically sleep-destroying elements of his requirement in medical schools to this day. Do you know what we call it? Stick around till after the credits to find out. Screaming Panda presents Reality, Episode 26, the 16th chapter of Hellgate City, Season 2. Kevin Barry wrote, performed, and directed it, and created its original music and episode art in a parallel reality. Then teleported only the good parts to our reality. This chapter's bonus tale is Androgynous Friend, Glitch in the Matrix 26, available only at patreon.com/Hellgate City. Whoops, I read that all in Thornton's voice, but I'm going to keep it like that for your enjoyment. But Kevin, why do you do this? It's so much work. Why are you even making this show? You know you could just sit around. Well, I am but a vessel for your pleasure. If more of you don't join the Patreon this month, you're probably not enjoying Hellgate City enough and it's time to close up shop. You see, most of these stories come to me in dreams. I channel them to entertain you. And when you come to me, a narcoleptic comedian, let's face it, compared to you, I plunge into a dream state 4,000% faster. My curse is your blessing. And look around you. You notice how every time we're told we live in a dystopian society, it seems they also say we have it so good we shouldn't complain. Well, I'm here to entertain you while I try to remove some splinters of bullshit like that from the pinky of our collective psyche. Like a real splinter, it's not enough to just gawk at it and expect it to go away. The pain will persist. So I believe in using humor and story, drumming up laughs, thrills, and cathartic chills so we may dislodge that splinter and relieve the tension holding us back. Finding the beauty in life isn't just about looking away from ugliness and doing nothing. It's about reframing it so we can confront it and change what needs changing. You can make a huge, sexy impact, and you will be thanked in the credits if you do. Will you make a pledge today? You'll unlock all the exclusive goodies. That means you can soak up 24 ecstasy-inducing bonus audio tales, enriching the narrative, head bob to 84 sacred tunes, relish in our priceless uncut sleep facts, and more. By chipping in the mere price of one cold brew coffee per month, you'll gain my eternal gratitude as well as entry to the hallowed halls of Neo Amsterdam's Interlegion Syndicate. Only you can help us avert the sad day when I'm forced to close up shop. Will you? Be the difference. Create a better reality for yourself and all of us Hellions today. Join now. Oh, and sometimes it's nice to warp reality to brighten up another person's day. That's why I have become Mr. Morning. When I go on my morning run, I'm the asshole who says, "Good morning," to every unsuspecting person lost in their thoughts. You too can force strangers to socialize before they're ready to face the world. Run with it. Dr. Halstead's policy of making student doctors live in the hospital was called residency. Perhaps you're familiar with the term as applied these days. Now you know the origin. The dark side begins to reveal itself the more you learn about Halstead's beliefs, which I delve into in the uncut sleep facts for this episode, available only on our Patreon page. Till next time, Dream Hacker, stay peachy.